In the ancient texts of the Hebrew Bible, the tale of Samson and Delilah unfolds as one of the most compelling narratives of strength, betrayal, and the human condition. A man endowed with extraordinary physical might, Samson was a figure of wonder and fear among the Israelites, destined to combat their oppressors, the Philistines. But in this epic tale, strength is not merely a physical attribute. It becomes a narrative device that intertwines with weakness, both physical and moral. Samson's story begins even before his birth. An angel proclaims to his barren mother that her son would be a Nazirite from birth, chosen by God to commence the deliverance of Israel from the Philistines. As a Nazirite, Samson vowed to abide by certain strictures, never to consume alcohol, not to touch corpses, and most famously, never to cut his hair. His uncut hair symbolized a divine covenant and was the source of his phenomenal strength. For years, Samson's prodigious power made him an unbeatable adversary. He tore apart a lion with his bare hands, struck down 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey, and dismantled city gates and carried them upon his shoulders. Yet, despite these feats, or perhaps because of them, Samson's life was also one of blinding pride and flawed judgment. His compelling strength led him to live recklessly, a life punctuated by indulgence and impetuosity. Enter Delilah, a character as beguiling as she is enigmatic. Her beauty caught Samson's eye, but her allegiance lay elsewhere. The Philistine rulers, recognizing Delilah's power over Samson, conspired with her to discover the secret of his strength. In a tale as old as time, the boundary between love and betrayal is perilously thin. Delilah's persistence and Samson's misplaced trust led to his downfall. After 3 deceitful attempts, Delilah finally extracted from Samson the secret of his strength, his uncut hair. As Samson slept, Delilah orchestrated his capture, having his hair shorn and rendering him vulnerable, physically and spiritually. Stripped of his power, Samson was seized by the Philistines, his eyes gouged out, and was bound in fetters, condemned to labor in the grinding mills as a mockery of his former self. Yet, the story of Samson doesn't conclude in ignominy. As his hair began to regrow, so did the symbolic strength of his spirit. In a final act of defiance and redemption, Samson was brought to a Philistine temple to be jeered at by thousands. But within the collapse of his physical form was the awakening of inner strength and a restored faith. He called upon God for one last surge of power, and with it, he brought the temple crashing down, bringing his enemies to ruin along with himself. The tale of Samson and Delilah transcends its ancient settings, an enduring parable of how true strength lies not in muscle, but in moral resolve. It cautions against the weaknesses that come from unchecked pride and misplaced trust. Ultimately, Samson's story, encapsulated in the paradox of his strength and weakness, invites reflection on the profound complexities of human nature. Though his life ended in darkness, it is in his fall and subsequent resurgence that we find the illumination of his strength.